Thanks for joining us today. My name is Danny Barr and I'm responsible for the new ZyPer 4K product here at ZV. This product is a revolutionary product that really recognizes a paradigm shift within the audiovisual industry. We look at conventional systems that have been in the marketplace for numerous years and we're trying to shake things up a little. And what we wanted to do today is share with you a view of the product, give you a demonstration, show you what the product is capable of, and hopefully get you interested in contacting us at zv.com for some more information on ZyPer 4K. So if you look at the existing ZyPer 4K architecture, at a glance you might think it looks like every other audio-video matrix system that you've seen. But the difference, and the significant difference here, is that in the center of the architecture is an off-the-shelf 10 gigabit Ethernet switch. So that allows you to choose the vendor based on your requirements. It also provides you scalability and flexibility that you don't traditionally get with conventional systems. So within this architecture we have a variety of different sources connecting into our encoder modules, and their job is to take the video, audio, control signals from the source and put them onto the network. We pass those through the 10 gigabit Ethernet switch and then out to the display end where we have our ZyPer 4K decoders, and irrespective of whether you have a flat panel display, a projector, and even if you're using our product in a video wall application, we have the ability to display all those sources across the network, in fact up to about 60 kilometers between the source and destination. So this is a revolutionary architecture, something that is very different from the existing systems in the market. So why don't we show you the capabilities of ZyPer 4K? So our demonstration today will show you connectivity for 8 discrete 4K sources being displayed simultaneously on 5 discrete displays. And within our configuration we have 4 28-inch displays set up in a 2x2 configuration, 2 rows, 2 columns. And we also have a new 85-inch LCD display as a single display. When you look at the user interface and the sources that are currently displayed, you'll see that this particular software interface will show me status of all of the active encoders and decoders in the system. They'll also tell you the video parameters of any connected sources or connected displays within the network. So we're going to make some changes. We're going to switch some video, and a couple of the things that you'll notice is that number one, it's very easy to switch sources to destinations. And number two, you'll also notice that we are demonstrating seamless switching capability. So as we switch between 4K sources, we're not losing any frames, we're not losing any sync with the monitors that we're connected to. So let's go ahead and make some switches. And as you see from our interface here, we have representations for all of the encoders and source devices that are on the network, as well as representations for each of the decoders or the displays that are on the network. So if I want to make a switch, I simply select my source, which in this case is my laptop, and I'm going to drag that to every display that's on the network. So when I do that, you'll see that the representations for each display now show, again, the resolution and refresh rate of the source that's connected, and each display also shows me which source is currently connected to it. If I do that, make another switch and select a different source, and now I'm going to take a Chrome box, I'm going to drag that to all displays. Again, what you will have seen is that the 4K source switched seamlessly. I make a connection to my new source and I don't lose any frames in between. So if I take a single source and drag it to all displays, that's a 1 by n matrix. But what I can also do is take individual sources and drag them up to individual displays. So this is a 4K video clip. I can take my Chrome box, drag it to another display. I can take an HDCP Blu-ray player, or I can take a 4K digital signage player. All of the switches are seamless, and now I'm demonstrating the ability to switch different sources to different displays. So it really is a true non-blocked matrix that we're showing. So one of the other features of ZyPer 4K is the ability to share an individual source across a video wall or matrix of displays. Again, in our example, we have a 2x2 video wall configured. And as I drag my source to my video wall, each of my decoders will now recognize the new source that's been connected. And when we switch over to the image of the video wall itself, you'll see that I've now taken a single 4K source and I've now shared it across a 2x2 video matrix. So again, I've got my source here. You can see that I've got my 2x2 as I move my application around within my 2x2 video wall. It was automatically configured dynamically, and now when I switch additional sources to that video wall configuration, you'll see that I'm dynamically taking every source and sharing it across my 2x2 video wall. And again, that's a feature that's built into the product. I don't need any additional hardware or software to do that. I just need the ability to have my video wall configured in advance. And then, as I switch back to an individual source, every display on the network will now show a single representation of my 4K laptop. So a unique feature of ZyPer 4K is the ability to discover devices, both encoders and decoders, on the network when they come online, and also to show the video parameters of any connected devices. So we currently have a variety of sources connected to our 2x2 video wall. And when I disconnect the HDMI going into one of my displays, you'll see a couple of things happen. One, you will see, obviously, I lose video on my display. And then secondly, the graphical user interface recognizes that my display is no longer connected and represents that for the user. When I reconnect my HDMI, the system automatically reconfigures itself. It knows that I was connected to a specific source, and now my display comes online again, just where I left off. So that could be useful to determine when a user has connected in their source, or perhaps when someone has connected in a display into the network. Another event that's extremely useful is the ability to determine if someone has physically disconnected or unpowered an encoder or a decoder from the network. So if I disconnect my decoder from the network by removing its fiber connection, the system recognizes that somebody has physically disconnected the decoder. So it's not that the video has been disconnected, but I've actually lost connection to the unit. What you will see on the video is that my video has retained its last good video clip. So this is a setup configuration. We have chosen to hang on to the last good frame. And now when I reconnect my source, my video picks up again, and the user interface automatically reconfigures itself. It knows that I was connected to a specific source. Let's show you what that looks like for our encoders. So we have our Chromebox, which is currently connected into the system. It's currently showing video, and it is connected to the network. We're going to disconnect the HDMI coming from the source into our encoder, and let's see what happens. So as we disconnected the HDMI from the source, my icon has represented that. That status is now available through the API. And then as I reconnect it, we'll see that icon coming live again and the video coming back to the displays that it's connected to. So again, that's a useful event when you want to know when someone has connected or disconnected a source into one of our encoders. But what happens if they inadvertently turn it off or disconnect it from the network? So when we remove the fiber into our encoder, the video has frozen on my display. you'll see the icon disappearing completely from the interface. And when I reconnect it, the display will pick up where it left off and my source will be displayed in the user interface again. So because of the open architecture and flexibility of the Ethernet environment, significant benefit of this system is that we can connect in our encoders and decoders in any order to any individual port, and all of the addressing and connectivity is managed by the API, so we can physically move devices around. So if we disconnect all of our encoder modules from their existing fiber ports on our network switch, let's see what happens. So as we start to disconnect devices from the network, they go offline. We are going to keep my laptop in so that I can still see the interface. So with our encoders now offline, all of the video at my displays has frozen, and I'm going to reconnect my encoders now into different ports. It doesn't need to be the same place that I had it plugged into earlier. So as I start to reconnect my encoders, video picks up again where it left off. The icons representing each of my encoders come back online. And this all happens without any interaction or configuration from a system administrator. And with all encoders back online, the system is back the way we had it before. So in addition to the ZyPer 4K control module, we also have the ability to allow external control products to manage the infrastructure. And here we're showing a Crestron touch panel system that is communicating with our API. So with this touch panel configuration, we have a very simple interface that looks exactly the way I want. As I select individual sources, I can choose to display those on multiple locations or on all displays within my video wall. We also have the ability to pre-configure presets. So if I wanted to change everyone to my Blu-ray player, or everyone back to my Chromebox, it's much easier to set up that as an existing preset. So the API also exposes the video wall capability that we demonstrated previously. So if I select an individual source and now choose my video wall option, now I have my source shared across all 4 displays. And again, I can select any source across the video wall. And when I'm finished, I can go back to my earlier preset and set my system up exactly the way I want. So when we're connected to a source, in this case a Blu-ray player, which is an HDCP protected source, one of the other benefits of the system is that we do expose all control capabilities to any endpoint in the system. So in this configuration, I have an infrared sensor connected to one of my decoder modules at the display, and then I have an infrared emitter connected back at the source into my Blu-ray player. So using an infrared remote control, I have the ability to perform any of my normal playback control functions, even though I could be up to 60 kilometers from the source. So any feature that's available through my infrared remote control, I now have the ability to extend that out to my users. So I hope we've shown you something today that you haven't seen before. We hope that you will visit us at zv.com and learn more about the ZyPer 4K solution. Thanks for coming.